couple of weeks just gave me the things that I had to go through. See, we've got to understand all of us have a story. Come on, tell somebody I got a story. Tell somebody I can think back even now to Watson to just about 12 years ago, Bishop, where I was driving on my way to work and a woman came from across the opposite lane and cut in front of me and clipped my car and caused me, Superintendent Taylor, to go head first into a light post at about 50 miles an hour. And as the accident happened, and I was dazed, and I really couldn't understand what was going on, but I knew enough and had been reared enough in this thing that I knew to call the name Jesus. They took me, mother, to the hospital, and of course the doctors wanted to say all manner of stuff. I had, Bishop, a commuted fracture in my right leg, which all of the bones were just broken in pieces, not even one break, and what's called a pneumothorax, a collapsed left lung. But what I appreciate about it is that the saints of God went into warfare and prayed. I thank God for praying mothers. I thank God for the mothers that know how to pray. And the mothers began to pray, and I was telling someone the story, my testimony, that my mother was one of those praying mothers that she just didn't believe in prayer. She believed in taking action. The doctors were talking about coming in the next morning and cutting open my chest, amen, to try to put something in there. But she knew that when they do that, especially with the things in the hospital like staph infection, it's so much more dangerous. So not only did she pray, they left the kid, and some of y'all know Dr. Butler, they left the kid in the hospital room, Bishop. And so that night before that next morning, she came and took it out and put it somewhere else in the hospital. So you gotta have some mothers that know how to fight the devil. Not only did she pray, but she said, we're not. And then the next morning, the doctors came in, and it so happened that one of the doctors, amen, had gone to residency with my sister, Dr. Esther. And she talked to her on the phone. She said, you know what, we're going to leave it alone and just let's see what happens. And how do you know that after a day or so, that lung reinflated on its own? I'm telling you what the Lord will do. When you trust God, and the fact is so bad when I first came out, of course, I came out on a wheelchair, and then I eventually went to crutches, eventually transitioned through, and I wasn't sure if this leg was going to be shorter than the other, what was going to be wrong, if I would walk right again. But how do you know I'm standing before you now?